Hey, you guys. I hope that you are having a good Thursday. I've got 30 minutes before my next Zoom call. So I figured I would pop in and do a quick brand builder talk. I'm also um, working from the rooftop of my office building because I just felt like, I have a great home office, but sometimes you need to change the scenery just to reassess and to make sure that your focus is right and not on laundry and all of the other things that can happen when you're home. So anyway, um, definitely um, trying to be more mindful of time, of priorities, of strategy as the year is coming to an end, because I feel like that there was like so many shifts that happened due to COVID for all of us, and but especially for those trying to build a brand. And when I'm talking about building a brand, we all are a brand. Your brand is who you are. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room. So this it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur or if you are in corporate building your brand. It doesn't matter if you're on social media or you're not on social media. Even just not even having a digital footprint, you still are a brand because your brand is who you are. It's what people think about you. And so and so one of the things that I do around this time of the year is the same strategic planning that I offer for clients. I actually sit down and I put myself away, usually in a hotel, for a couple of days, and I do strategic planning around the Power Network and around what Chantel McKenzie's brand looks like for the upcoming year. And I usually get a head start on that, and my mind starts spinning. And what I realized is, when COVID hit, we were all scrambling. All of a sudden, our kids were at home, and um, how we traditionally did business changed. Our ability to come together in person was limited. Our ability to reach people in the way we had been reaching them was limited. And so, all of a sudden, we had to become unique and innovative, and um, pivot was the word that was used by a lot of individuals. And I think in some of that pivoting, me included, we started taking on things and stretching ourselves out of fear of, well, I need to take every opportunity thrown at me because I don't know when the next opportunity is going to come. And I don't know if the world is going to shut down even further. I don't know what individuals' buying behaviors will be like. I don't know what individual social media behaviors will be like. I don't know what the workforce is going to be like. Like, we knew nothing when this first hit. And so, we went into survival mode. It was like fight or flight mode, which is completely normal when there is a global pandemic, catastrophic, unprecedented happening, of something that we're not typically used to. Do me a favor too, if you're watching this and this is speaking to you, please share. I got to get better about asking that. So, and so I was victim to that in a lot of ways. And when I say victim, I don't mean because anybody else did it to me. I mean, a lot of times it'd be World War Me. I was victim to that because I let my fear allow me to stretch myself too thin, to the point that I got caught up in the noise of the pandemic, the noise of the oversaturation of social media, and the internet, the noise of people needing to pivot and needing help pivoting, and started saying, yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll do that. Yes, I do this. Yes, I do that. Yes, I do this. And now, as we come back to being normal-ish, it's like we're open-ish, we're normal-ish, and we're realizing that this is something that may not go away for years. So like, it keeps mutating, and things keep changing, and we kind of open, we kind of not. We can get together over here, but not over there. Um, that it's time to wheel it back in, because it was great for that survival mode in order to be able to keep my business afloat. And I actually did pretty well. But for the long game, as far as how I really want to impact lives, and what I want to do as far as the purpose, plan, and efficacy of my business, it really is not a good strategy. And so, I titled this Breaking Through the Noise because what's happened is the internet has gotten a lot noisier from so many people being at home. And you add TikTok onto that, you add People are more active on LinkedIn now. You add Clubhouse, you add all of these other things that happen in order to give us this opportunity to come together. Nobody is usually ever up here. Somebody's up here talking. So what happens with that is that the internet is way more noisy. And so, and social media is not just social media anymore. It is actually the internet. It is where people go when they Google you, when they Google your business. What comes up at the top of the SEO search is your social media pages. And so when people shift their narrative, or they shift what it is that they're endeavoring to do in order to hide out behind their brand or to change their audience, I'm like, you're actually affecting people's ability to reach you and to reach your business and to verify your credibility. So super important that that does not happen. But when I'm talking about breaking through the noise, I used to be preaching from the mountaintops that content is king, content is king, content is king. And what's most important is that you are consistent with good content, that you diversify your content, that you're out here every day with content. And content is still super duper duper important. But what is most important with the content is that there's clarity to it, because there's so much content that's being streamed on social media right now, and there's so much content that's available to people that if there is not clear, concise messaging around your content, then it's just going to get lost in the minutia of everything that's out there. And so if people can't clearly say, like, Chantel does brand building, business consulting, events, that's what she does. She speaks also, she's available for that. But these are her buckets. Like, when I think about what the Power Network does, my business, I was actually like taking some notes as I was preparing, and I'm like, we power businesses, we power brands, we power teams, we power communities, and we power events. That's what we do, point blank and period. That's it. That's all. If it doesn't fall into those buckets, we shouldn't be doing it. Now, there's subcategories that fall into that. So through the powering of communities, as a female entrepreneur, that means minority communities, that means the female community, that means the community in which I live in, that means the country as a whole. When it talks about we power businesses from an organizational development perspective, from a workshop perspective, from a speaking perspective. When we power brands, we launch brands, we refresh brands, we help brands take themselves into a new frontier. Last week we had a brand, a 25-year-old brand, completely changed their name, their logo, everything. We walked with them through that process. And so there's so many different things that we do as subcategories in the bucket. But by having the buckets, then now I can clearly put my content around those buckets, which makes branding myself that much easier. And I'm encouraging you to do the same. Sit down and figure out what your buckets are, what your core competencies are. And anything that doesn't fall into that, ask yourself, if you are using your social specifically around building your business or your career, should anything, like, one of the things that I would say that I did in the past that I don't do anymore is I used to post a lot about my marriage. Nothing wrong with that. Proud of my marriage. But I used to post a lot about my marriage. Some things in life should just be sacred. So my husband and I both post less about one another. And it's just a choice, because as your influence grows, as your reach grows, as the individuals who now I'm not just talking to a few hundred of you guys, thousands and thousands and thousands of people follow the Power Network page. Thousands of people follow me on IG. Thousands of people are connected to me in my personal space. And so putting that out there for public consumption, that means I'm also putting it out there for public scrutiny. And that's not something that I'm necessarily interested in. Now, part of my brand with the We Power Communities comes into, we power communities, we want to impact families. So I put a lot of great news and a lot of things about what my kids have going on, because I'm super proud mom. But then also, I hope that it inspires other moms to know that you can live your dreams while helping your children pursue theirs. You can live your dreams by being an active mother. You can run a business and show up for your children. And so it's super important. to me, and so that's a piece that stays. And so point in this being is that content is no longer king, clarity is now. And so you need to get really succinct with your messaging. And then after the clarity comes consistency. So once you clarify what your brand is, meaning who you are, who are you? What do people get when they get you? That's actually your superpower, because similar is not the same. So what people get when they get Chantel McKenzie, even if there's someone else out there that does business consulting, that does brand management, that does marketing, that does events, they don't have my life experience. They don't have my educational experience. They don't have, and then when I say that, it doesn't mean that they don't have the same degree or we didn't go to the same school, but we can be sitting in the same classroom and glean something different from the knowledge that's being taught to us. They don't have my work experience from the 20 years I spent in corporate America. They don't have the experience of of me growing up as a military brat and living all over the country, and also having a family from the South Side of Chicago. Like, all of those things make me uniquely me, and it allows me to merge all of those things to be who I am and to deliver to my clients in the way in which I do, in my own unique way. And for so many of us, because of the noise that's on social media, and when I say noise, I mean the over inundation of information that's coming, we'll be looking at what someone else is doing. Like, it's like when the TikTok dance goes crazy, or when someone, everybody now they point at the words, doing this, doing that, doing this, which I think is dope. And it's like everybody wants to grab on to the latest trend, and that's cool. Like, nothing wrong with that. Reels important. They go viral way easier because they are prioritized in the algorithm. But again, clarity around that. Do it concisely, and make sure it's authentically you. That's the whole point. Like, the world doesn't need, people used to give me what I consider one of the highest compliments, and still do, of like, yo, you're the next Oprah Winfrey. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm the current Chantel McKenzie, and I hope to get better at being her every single day, because the world already has Oprah Winfrey, and I admire her, and I've had an opportunity to work under her. And that was one of the greatest moments of my life, and seasons of my life. However, I don't wake up every day trying to be Oprah, trying to duplicate Oprah, trying to emulate Oprah, because guess what? I didn't live Oprah's life. I don't have her story. I'm not her. I'm me. And so if I walk around trying to be, not trying, but if I walk around actually being the most authentic me that I can be, then that's where I'm going to see the most success, because people do business with, hire, work with people they know, like, and feel and trust, and feel like they have a connection with. And if you are not being social on social media, and if you're not giving glimpse into who your authentic self is, how can they make that connection with you? How is that even possible? And so I would just want to put this up here to encourage you to be very clear, to spend some time clarifying your messaging. Clarify what it is you're trying to say, and then be consistent about it. And again, I'm sharing this, I'm preaching to the choir, because I would say I was really, when power hit, it was really succinct. Everything was HER, everything was about power, brand builder, this, that. It was very, and then I would say, between the pandemic and things, like, all of a sudden it was like, you look at my page, it's like my storyboard, my mood board with my colors went out the window, using my meme frames went out the window. And, I'll try to wheel it back, but then all of a sudden I'll go rogue again. And so it's like even holding myself accountable to what the end game looks like, and what it is that I'm saying that I want to help people do. And hopefully that's why you're doing whatever it is that you do, because you're passionate about it, and because you want to impact lives, and because you want to make change in the world for the better. Because I will tell you that if you're in anything just for the money, that 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 is like the death sentence. It really, 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 really is. And so make sure that again, that's where that clarity comes in. That's where that time doing strategic planning around yourself. As I always tell when I teach classes, we can't be so busy working in the business that we aren't working on the business. We can't be so busy working in our careers that we're not working on our careers. You always have to leave this section of time for you, that you have time for you. and that you embrace all the good and bad parts of you, and you figure out what it is the most authentic you. You figure out where you need professional development. You figure out where you need personal development. You figure out where you need help. None of us can do this alone. If you can do if your dream can come to fruition by itself, then it's not big enough. Dream bigger. And so who do you need? Who do you need to connect with? Who do you need to build relationship with? I mean, that's the other piece of it. So clarity, consistency, relationships. Relationships are our highest value currency right now. Facebook literally sells relationships. They literally sell the analytics, the data, et cetera, that comes with the relationships that we're building with one another, with brands, with businesses, with corporations, et cetera. And guess what? People do not do business with brands. They actually do business with people. And we as people are so busy trying to be a brand when brands are really busy trying to be human. And so, why not just be yourself and then see how that works out for you? Because every single brand, from Apple to McDonald's to Amazon, is trying to humanize their marketing and be more. It's why the Amazon logo has the smile that goes from the A to the Z. So, a lot of people don't notice that. So genius of Jeff Bezos and team. It's like basically he's saying, I got you from A to Z, but then he humanized it by doing that little smile piece in it. It's why McDonald's has a Happy Meal, and why the golden arches. And when we were little, I'm going to age myself, we had Hamburglar, and we had, and that's why they have Ronald McDonald. Like, it's the reason that Nike comes out with the ad every year with from a Colin Kaepernick to a Serena Williams, with somebody who is making changes, or they do these videos, because all of these brands are trying to add a human element to what they're doing. And so don't forget about the human element in what you're doing. And for someone who's still in corporate, don't forget to spend some time. So the entrepreneur is spending this time strategically planning on how they're going to get their messaging out for next year, and how they're going to reach more clients and more customers, et cetera. I would say I did the same thing in my corporate life at the end of every year. And I was trying to figure out the same things because of what I did for a living. But I also made sure that I spent time writing down what I accomplished, writing down how I impacted the business, writing down what numbers I had made. I was in really high end sales, and just really writing down my accolades, because a lot of times we as leaders, we as employees can think, because we're there early and we leave late and we turn in everything on time, and and customers or clients are sending accolades, that our leadership team is taking notice of us, and eventually they're just going to drop that promotion in our lap. No, 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 no. That again, you have to be brand building everywhere. You have to be brand building in the workplace. You have to let it be known you want to get promoted. You have to let it be known you're interested in other positions. You have to let it be known that you want to be on a project. And I'm especially going to talk to women right now, because we have been conditioned to have this sense of false humility, or this sense of, we are not allowed to go after what we want, or we're viewed as aggressive or assertive or pushy. And it's like, no, at the end of the day, as long as you got all your ducks in a row, and you can approach with numbers and data to support whatever it is you're asking for, no one can discount that. I don't go in there crying. I just think that, I deserve. Business is business. However, go in there with your head held high, and your notes, and schedule the meeting, and walk in there and ask for what you want. And if you work for someone who doesn't see your value, then perhaps it's time to start looking to find a company that does see your value. And same with entrepreneurs as it relates to clients. There's a note that I recently wrote that says, no client retainer is worth my self-worth. It goes back to that clarity and understanding my brand, and who it is and who I am. And so I can't be so caught up in securing the client that I sacrifice my self worth. And I especially can't do it in a branding perspective. There's so many people that will hire me to do brand building or marketing, and then and then it hasn't happened a lot of times, but there'll be a couple that just have no idea what it is they want to do. They want to be thought leaders. They want to be individuals who reach a whole lot of people, yet they just want to hand it to my team and say, and you go make that happen. Well, I don't know how to be authentically you. And so this has got to be a team effort. I can coach you through the process of how to connect with people. I can help you write some copy. I can help spin whatever it is that you're saying in a way that it resonates with the public more. Because the other piece that I don't want to miss in this and breaking through the noise, the other way to break through the noise is how we affect people emotionally, and how that resonates with them. You want to say something, post something, write something that affects someone, that evokes some type of positive emotion, that even if they don't do business with you today, that they definitely know they want to do business with you in the future, or even if they're not in a space to do business with you at all, that they refer you to someone else, because a lot of times things are about reputation and referral. As a matter of fact, in most cases, it's about reputation and referral. I always think about Simon Sinek and his golden circle. And if you're familiar with it, it's a three-ring circle, and the outer realm is the what, because all of us are really good at saying, okay, this is what I do. And then the inner circle is the how, and this is how I do it. And then the middle is, and this is why I do it. And that why piece speaks to the part of our brain that evokes emotion, that touches our belief system, that resonates with our values. And so if you don't um, evoke that why sensor in someone's brain, because just let's just be honest, there's a lot of people that do what I do, there's a lot of people that do what you do, there's a lot of people that do what you do in the workplace, there's resumes on resumes on resumes, portfolios on portfolios on portfolios. If you're like me and you're answering RFPs and things like that, there's all kinds of clients, firms, etc., that can talk to different aspects of how they can do what it is you're also endeavoring to do. And so then it's like, but that why piece, why you do it, why they should do it with you, and why are you different than how someone else would do it. We really need to understand what people get when they get us. And if we don't know that for ourselves and we can't clearly articulate that, then how could anybody else know that? And so make sure that you spend time breaking through the noise on the internet, and make sure you spend time breaking through the noise on social, and that you're not just throwing up a whole bunch of memes that you think are nice, and not adding your thoughts on them. That you're not just regurgitating like your favorite person's, like, I mean, cool, that's fine. I mean, people will be aware of who you are, and they might go to your page often, um, just to see what you reposted of somebody else's. But as far as engagement and understanding what your thoughts are, how can they ever get there? And if they can't get there, I will say, if you feel like you're bumping your head against the wall, and there's a next level and another level that you're trying to get to and you can't get there, then ask yourself, like, am I being clear about what it is that I do? Am I being clear about what my brand is? Am I being clear about what I bring to the table? Am I being clear about the value that I add to an organization, to clients, to customers, etc.? And all of those things make a huge, 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 huge difference with building your personal brand and your professional brand. Because you want to be memorable, and you want to. I'm always super appreciative of, when someone asks, like, who does events, who does business launches, who does branding, who does marketing, and I get copied on um, those types of questions. So it's like, cool, because for me, what it does is it lets me know that my marketing, my storytelling, my oh, hey Maya, this is Trish shirt. I'll call you when the invoices pay. And these are Arletta's earrings, and this is Tamira's hat. I am definitely rocking all Black female-owned brands today on purpose. So yeah, that is oh, and I had on a Maya bracelet earlier. I think I took it off because it was clicking against the table. I had a pretty by Maya Joy bracelet on. So yeah, like, guys, like, it's time to break through the noise, and it is that time of year that you need to spend some time mapping out how you're gonna like how much money do you want to make next year? How many people do you want to reach? How are you gonna do that? This is the time to make those type of investments. We worry about Christmas and we buy all of this stuff that we can go and use for a couple months and then we're not going to use again. I got, I ain't gonna shade nobody, but people out here, grown folks buying video game systems and this, that, and they try to figure out like, but how am I gonna grow my business? Would you pay for that Nintendo Switch or that PS5? Could have built you a website, or it could have or for me, I've sacrificed some things. I've sacrificed at the beginning. I was sacrificing vacations. I was sacrificing clothing. I was sacrificing eating out. I was sacrificing so many things to put money back into my business and into my dream in order to get to the place that I could work for me, and that would be something that could help support my family. And so that is what's important. So break through the noise, keep your content going, but make sure it's clear and concise, clarity, 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 and then make sure it's consistent. Make sure it's consistent. So many clients I talk to worry, am I posting too much? Am I posting too much? Well, if all you're doing is selling, 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 and promoting, 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 then you can run the risk of desensitizing your audience. If everything is 20% off, 30% off, this, and that. But it depends on what you're selling. Like if you look at like a Fashion Nova brand, or you look at Express, or you look at like, for the most part, or Fenty Beauty, like for the most part, they are selling us all day, but they're selling us in creative ways. That those photos, the aesthetics that they're selling us with, definitely pull us in. And so it's not necessarily a bad way to do it. It's about how you do it, and it's about the consistency of it, and it's about, does it tell the story of your brand? Does it match your brand, or did you just throw something up? So all right, you guys, let me get on this next call. Please remember to hit that share button. If you're watching this on YouTube, please remember to hit that subscribe button. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace, love, power. I'm out.